I found myself caught in a difficult situation when my wife, Lily, suddenly dropped a bombshell during dinner one day, expressing her desire for us to separate. This wasn't a surprising move on her part, as Lily had a tendency to make decisions abruptly. And once she set her mind on something, it was set in stone. Despite the gravity of the situation and the potential impact on both our lives, I didn't find it in myself to vehemently argue against it. This wasn't because I was okay with the idea of divorce, but rather, I was grappling with the aftermath of losing my job due to the economic downturn caused by the Lehman Brothers shock. The company I had been working for went bankrupt, leaving me desperately searching for a new job, not just for my sake, but primarily for Lily's well-being. Despite sending out numerous resumes, I'd only secured interviews with 3 companies, none of which progressed to the final stage. The realization hit hard that my 5 years of experience in a subsidiary of a major automotive manufacturer didn't carry as much weight as I had hoped. It felt like my spirit was breaking under the weight of these challenges. Securing a job at my previous company had been a stroke of luck that I now appreciated more than ever. Reflecting on the past, I recalled the nerve-wracking job hunting period, where interviews were a significant hurdle for me. Public speaking discomfort and the prevalence of group interviews made it even more challenging. During one particular interview at my current workplace, a group discussion was part of the selection process. Seated at a table with other candidates, each vying to impress the interviewers, I found myself overwhelmed by the atmosphere. Unable to articulate even a fraction of my thoughts, I left the discussion feeling deeply discouraged, convinced I wouldn't pass, not even by some stroke of luck. When the job offer letter finally arrived, contrary to my expectations, I was convinced it must be some kind of mistake. As I carefully checked the contents of the envelope, Lily, who was beside me, rejoiced as if it were her own achievement. Believe in yourself. People who truly understand your worth will recognize it, Lily said, patting my back with genuine enthusiasm. Lily and I first crossed paths in a university club when we both entered the Faculty of Law. Our connection grew as we studied law together in various areas. Before the first lecture began, Lily, along with a few others, entered the classroom, and I became intrigued by her lively presentation about the club in front of the students. Shortly after we started our studies, when I peeked into the club room with a male friend I had become close to, it was Lily who provided us with an explanation about the club. Despite its formal-sounding name, the Legal Research Society was described as a casual group with the main purpose of fostering connections through drinking parties and sports events. Lily efficiently played the role of a coordinator for new club members. Being more laid back by nature, there was something about Lily that initially attracted me to her. During the welcome party for new club members, the topic of our hometowns came up in conversation, and I discovered that Lily and I were from the same area, living just about 2 train stops away from each other. This shared hometown connection became the starting point for us to bond, and from then on, Lily and I often found ourselves getting excited while discussing our common experiences. Another reason we could easily talk was because I had taken a gap year, making me the same age as Lily. During the first summer vacation after I entered university, we decided it would be nice to go home together since we had the opportunity. Without any particular reason to decline, I agreed. However, for some unknown reason, Lily got off at the same station as me. "I want to see the town where you were born and raised, even if just a little bit," Lily said with a cheerful tone, responding to my puzzled expression. However, at that moment, I felt a slight awkwardness being together with Lily. It was because my mother was supposed to be waiting at the station to pick me up, and she had a slightly surprised yet happy expression on her face when she saw Lily standing beside me. It became clear that she misunderstood and thought Lily was my girlfriend. Wanting to clarify things right away, I started to say, "This young lady is..." But before I could introduce Lily as my senior at university, she spoke up with a mischievous smile and said, "I am in a relationship with Jack. I'm Lily." I froze in place at the sudden words uttered by Lily. My mother responded with a confused, "Well, Okay then. And then asked, "So, how about coming to our house now?" In response, Lily said, "I'm truly tempted by your kindness, but my parents are also waiting for me at home. I'll have to take a rain check for another opportunity." With those words, she passed through the ticket gate once again and headed toward the platform. On the way back home, my mother bombarded me with questions about Lily. That night, I sent a message to Lily, asking, "What do you mean by all of that?" A few minutes later, I received a reply that said, "I just expressed my feelings honestly. The rest is up to you." I responded with a simple "got it." And in the immediate reply, it said, "What do you mean by got it? It's either we're together or we're not. There are only two options for an answer." I decided to be straightforward and replied, "I want to be in a relationship with you," and sent the message. In response, I received a message saying, "All right then." From that moment on, I believe our hierarchical relationship was established between me and Lily. During my job search, I didn't have any particular company in mind that I wanted to join. Even the choice of where to send my applications was decided after discussing it with Lily. Despite Lily's repeated cautions, urging me to take more initiative, I would respond with something like, "I have Mother Lily, the absolute deity, with me, so everything will be fine." At that time, I had little awareness of making decisions about my own life and was always receiving advice from Lily. For years after graduating from university, I married Lily, and our life together seemed to be going smoothly. Therefore, when Lily suddenly confessed to cheating on me, I was deeply shocked. She calmly stated, "Tomorrow morning, I will be leaving this house. As I am solely at fault, I will agree to whatever compensation you suggest. Please contact the lawyer I will appoint for further arrangements," and without any emotional expression, Lily entered the bedroom. Frustrated with my own helplessness, I couldn't even say a word or take any action in response to Lily's unexpected revelation. I couldn't sleep at all that night, and early the next morning, I heard the sound of Lily waking up and getting ready. The urgency to speak to her immediately surged within me, but I found myself at a loss for words and unsure of how to approach the situation. As a result, I remained still in bed. After I heard the sound of Lily closing the door and everything became quiet, I left the bedroom where I had been sleeping. At the dining table, breakfast was prepared for me, accompanied by a divorce document, the wedding ring, and the house key placed next to it. And note with the words, "I'm sorry. Thank you so much for everything up until now," added to the weight of the moment. I collapsed in despair, crying out loud with tears overflowing from my eyes in such abundance that I couldn't believe there were so many tears within me. Eventually, I realized that I had fallen asleep on the floor of the dining room. With no motivation to do anything, I stared at the ceiling feeling lost. Remaining in a daze for a while, the image that emerged in my mind was Lily's smiling face. Despite the overwhelming sense of despair, I kept shaking my head, questioning the point of it all. However, Lily's smile wouldn't fade from my mind. It was then that I realized once again how much I truly loved Lily, and a thought struck me. I should be a man that Lily can be proud of. While some might perceive my sensitivity, or the decision to stand by a cheating partner as unnecessary, I firmly believed and trusted that Lily was my greatest ally and understanding partner. Afterward, I worked tirelessly and wholeheartedly. I took on tasks that I was not naturally inclined towards, such as sales as a contract employee, and also gained experience in more manual labor-oriented jobs. Despite the unfamiliar physical labor, there were times when I couldn't move the next day due to exhaustion. One day, I received a call from my former boss at the previous company. He informed me about an acquaintance recruiting staff for a children's care facility, asking if I'd be interested in giving it a try. It became evident that my former boss, who had been contacting me from time to time, had been keeping an eye on me since I hadn't found a job yet. At that time, I had transformed from my previous passive self and had become more proactive in facing various challenges. Through various jobs, I developed a stronger mindset of let's challenge anything and everything. I readily accepted my former boss's offer without hesitation. At the children's care facility, I encountered various types of children: cheerful ones, quiet ones, restless ones, quick-tempered ones, and many more. Despite their young age, many of these children had experienced things I couldn't even imagine. Looking back on my life, I felt the naivety and indulgence I had carried with me. As I sincerely engaged with the children, who were honest with their feelings, I realized that my own heart was being healed in the process. I began to think that maybe this is the place where I truly want to work. With my doubts gone and a lighter heart, I interacted with the children in a more natural and genuine way. One day, while doing desk work, I was called by the facility director. As soon as I entered the director's office, I froze in place because Lily's parents were there, both with solemn expressions. The facility director left the room, leaving us to talk. A few days later, on my day off from work, I headed toward a beach park nearby, a place full of memories where Lily and I used to take walks after getting married. Lily was already seated on the bench overlooking the harbor where the yachts were moored. Sitting down on the bench, I greeted her with a long time no see. As Lily turned around, she asked, "It's been a while. How have you been?" I left a little space between us, pondering whether Lily had cheated on me. "You didn't, did you?" "Cheat on me?" I asked straightforwardly. Lily nodded silently. I had heard most of the story from her parents. Lily's parents told me why she had brought up the idea of divorce and how she had been living. It seemed that Lily felt responsible for not actively searching for a new job when I had lost mine. She believed that divorce was the best way for both of us to make a fresh start on our own paths. Lily couldn't imagine that I would accept the idea of divorce if she brought it up straightforwardly. So she faked an affair to manipulate me into accepting it. She explained that she didn't show much emotion during the divorce discussion because she was afraid that if she became emotionally involved, she would start crying. After returning to her parents' home, Lily became so depressed that her parents grew concerned. Lily's parents had considered telling me the truth several times, but she had stopped them. It turned out that her parents had heard about me working at the child welfare facility and had visited to see me. When I heard this, I thought it might be going a bit too far, but Lily replied, "I thought that you needed this kind of tough love to start fresh and carve out a new path for yourself from scratch." Upon questioning if she ever thought I would remarry, Lily replied, "At that time, it was what it was. I was prepared to accept that it was our fate." I murmured, "You're such a determined person," and continued, "After hearing the story from your parents, I also realized that you have your vulnerabilities. From now on, I want you to show me those weaknesses as well." In response, Lily said, "That's all up to you from now on," and they shared a knowing smile. At that moment, I thought to myself, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. I want to cherish the happiness I found, even if it took a detour in life, and treasure it for the rest of my life.